Every year prices rise, not dramatically, not violently, just enough that you feel it. Groceries cost a little more, rent creeps higher, fuel stretches your budget thinner than last month. And you're told this is normal, 2%, 3%, 5%, just numbers. But inflation is not just mathematics, it is behavioral engineering. Because when prices rise slowly, you don't revolt. You adjust, you cut back, you compromise, you lower expectations. And over time, you stop thinking about building wealth and start thinking about surviving cost. And that shift is where the real transfer happens. Inflation doesn't attack your wallet first. It attacks your confidence. The moment your income stays the same but everything else rises, your brain registers loss. And humans are wired to avoid loss more than they seek gain. So what do most people do? They retreat. They delay investments. They avoid risk. They hold cash tighter. They tell themselves, let me just wait until things stabilize. But here's the part no one says clearly. Inflation rarely rewards waiting. It rewards positioning. Because while most people freeze, assets continue moving. Property rises, equity compounds, ownership appreciates, and the psychological gap widens, not because of intelligence, but because of behavior. Inflation is a silent wealth transfer system, not random, not chaotic, structured. When money is printed, it does not enter the economy evenly. It enters through institutions, through asset markets, through capital channels. By the time it reaches wages, prices have already adjusted. So savers lose purchasing power, but asset holders gain inflated valuation. This is why holding cash long-term during inflationary periods is like holding ice in warm air. It melts quietly. Meanwhile, debt becomes lighter. Loans shrink in real value. Hard assets become protection, and leverage becomes strategy. The wealthy don't celebrate inflation. They understand it. They understand that currency is a tool, but ownership is power. And when currency weakens, ownership strengthens in relative terms. Here is where most people lose, not financially, mentally. Inflation creates urgency. Urgency triggers emotion. Emotion reduces strategy. Reduced strategy leads to reactive decisions, overspending, panic saving, short-term focus. And short-term focus destroys long-term wealth, because wealth requires patience during discomfort. While others panic, disciplined individuals allocate. While others fear, strategists calculate. The difference is not income, it is perspective. When prices rise, the untrained mind sees threat. The trained mind sees reallocation opportunity. Inflation is not designed to keep you poor, but ignorance of inflation is. Wealthy individuals do three things differently during inflationary cycles. First, they convert currency into assets. They don't idolize cash, they deploy it. Second, they use controlled leverage. Debt during inflation becomes cheaper in real terms. Third, they think in decades, not months. Inflation punishes hesitation, but it rewards preparation. The system is not broken. It is cyclical, and cycles repeat. The question is simple. Are you reacting emotionally or positioning strategically? Inflation will continue. It always has. The real decision is internal. Will rising prices shrink your mindset or expand your awareness? Money is not just currency. It is behavior. It is timing. It is positioning. When fear rises, discipline must rise higher. When currency weakens, ownership becomes strength. This is not about panic. It is about perception. Because once you see the signal, you stop reacting and start building. This is mindset signals. And now, you've seen the system differently. Most people believe their financial problems are mathematical. They think they need better budgeting apps, more side hustles, or a higher salary. But money is not first a math problem. It is a conditioning problem. From childhood, we absorb invisible financial programming. We hear things like, money is hard to earn, Rich people are greedy. We can't afford that. People like us don't become wealthy. Those phrases don't disappear. They become subconscious commands. And here's the dangerous part. You can consciously want wealth while subconsciously rejecting it. That internal conflict creates self-sabotage. You procrastinate on opportunities. You undercharge for your skills. You avoid investing because it feels risky. You stay in safe but stagnant environments. Your brain prefers familiar struggle over unfamiliar growth, because psychologically, uncertainty feels like danger. And wealth, real wealth, requires uncertainty. This is why two people can earn the same income, but one builds assets while the other builds expenses. The difference is not intelligence. It is identity. One sees money as a tool. The other sees money as stress. And identity always wins over intention. Now here is something most people never realize. Modern financial systems are designed around human psychology, not logic. Credit cards don't say, borrow responsibly. They say, buy now. Pay later. Luxury brands don't sell products, they sell status. Investment platforms use flashing green numbers and red alerts because your brain reacts emotionally to color. Red triggers urgency. Green triggers reward anticipation. And your dopamine system responds instantly. This is not accidental. It is behavioral economics. Every notification, every discount timer, every limited offer. It is engineered to bypass rational thought. And when emotion leads, money leaves. This is why financially disciplined people remove frictionless spending tools. They create delays before purchases. They automate investments. They reduce decision fatigue. Because they understand something powerful. The strongest financial strategy is emotional regulation, not prediction. If money problems are psychological, then wealth must begin internally. The breakthrough is not earning more. It is becoming the type of person who manages more. Wealthy individuals do not chase money emotionally. They position themselves strategically. They think in probabilities, not panic. They measure decisions in decades, not days. And most importantly, they detach self-worth from income. Because when your identity depends on financial validation, you will overspend to impress and overwork to prove. But when your identity is stable, money becomes neutral, a tool, a lever, an amplifier. So the real question is not, how can I make more money? The real question is, who must I become to handle greater financial responsibility? Because income without discipline creates chaos, but discipline without income creates opportunity. And when both align, that is financial power. Most people will finish this video and go back to reacting emotionally to money, but a small percentage will pause, reflect, and begin observing their own financial behavior. If you are building wealth, understand this. Your bank account is a mirror. It reflects your habits, your fears, your identity, and your discipline. Change the internal signals and the external numbers will follow. This is mindset signals. And the difference between broke and wealthy is rarely knowledge, it is awareness.